Well, good evening, everybody. It's me, Alex. And unfortunately, I forgot to turn off my phone. We are doing live today on IFTA. What is IFTA? Who has to file IFTA? What are rules and regulations? Well, as always, I will be sharing the screen and we're gonna figure out what do you have to do as a carrier, what do you have to do as driver. Hopefully you guys can see everything. Let me switch to the screen. Hopefully the stream is working well. I don't know, we had some problems with internet earlier today. Hello everybody. So what is IFTA? Let's first figure out, because I'm big of you understanding the terms, right? So let's see. How do we file it? When do we file? When is the deadlines? And if there are any IFTA requirements. Okay. So first, what is IFTA? Well, IFTA, it is an international fuel tax agreement, right? Between 40 states plus some Canadian provinces, and it is open in jurisdictions where your carrier located. So let's remember this. So if I am in Illinois, my jurisdiction state is Illinois. If, for example, I don't know where Ron is, I see he's here. If he is somewhere in California and his motor carrier is located in California, jurisdiction state for that carrier would be California. So he has to file to open IFTA account from California. As independent dispatcher, you can provide this service. I see right now you guys all entering, but I see, for example, Pamela, right? Good afternoon. Hope your Monday went well. Yes, it went good. It was not much challenges. Market is still strong. Everybody's on the road. Everybody is booked, pre-booked. All my trucks were on East Coast, so I had to pre-book them on Friday. I did not have to sweat today as much. But I know that Pamela is offering this service, right? As IFTA filings and calculations. Why does she do that? Because probably lots of you already figured this out. If you're dispatching for smaller carrier who has 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks, they simply cannot afford another person, a third party who is going to be doing IFTA, all the renewals, right? All the safety and compliance. Well, plus it's easier for them when the same person who dispatching their trucks is also in charge of their IFTA calculation, safety and compliance paperwork, right? Because it's easier for you and for them. And as independent dispatcher, of course, it gives you value, right? Because if you compare yourself to dispatcher who has no clue about HOS and just think that he's gonna click and book that load, and then here come you with the knowledge of IFTA filing, with knowledge of the safety compliance, well, it's a different value, right? Different service. And of course, the more value you are giving to the carrier, the more you can charge. Plus, you have to be a pro. Even if you're not going to be providing this service, you are in logistics. You need to know what's going on. So again, IFTA is open in the state where your motor carrier is located, right? And we call this jurisdiction state, right? So let's continue. Before IFTA, if some of you have been in a business for a long time, I don't remember this. I was not in trucking back then, but every state used to have their own fuel tax system, right? And we used to call it the bingo plates. So before the driver was entering state, let's say he was coming from Illinois, going to Kentucky, he was passing Indiana, he was supposed to stop at every entry and he had to prepay the taxes, fuel taxes. And it was kind of nonsense. It was taking lots of time. Drivers did not like it. People did not pay on time, so it was all nightmare. So then they created this system. And now they decided that we have to pay 4 quarters, right? Besides paying quarterly, the biggest thing you guys have to remember that with IFTA comes a big responsibility, right? And I am talking about fines and penalties. I am talking about late payments. You're going to pay fees. And I am talking about actually criminal prosecution and fines up to $5,000. If you are the owner of trucking company, you have to have IFTA account if you are interstate carrier, if you're going out of your state. It is your personal guarantee, and actually it is a criminal federal charges. So that's why, please guys, do not play with IFTA. Make sure you open IFTA on time. Make sure your drivers have IFTA decals, right? And we were covering this in the end of the year, right? You were supposed to renew your IFTA account for 2022. Every driver should have an IFTA license in their folder in a truck. Each truck has to have decals, which you guys put on each side of the truck, right? Those decals are given to you by your state for each truck. Each decal has a number on it, right? So we're going to learn about what responsibility you have after you distribute those decals as a company owner. But let's continue. So we're going to learn how IFTA is calculated, right? Well, to calculate IFTA, you will need to know what? How many gallons you burn in each state, right? And also, you will need to have a miles for entire quarter. So let's picture this. If you only one truck, right? It's easy. One truck, all the miles for 3 months, right? And all the gallons in each state. With one truck, it's easy. Well, what if you add in 2, 3 trucks, right? Well, it's getting tricky. And people use different methods to do this, right? You just need to remember that the only states which are not included in IFTA are Alaska, Hawaii, District of Columbia, and Canadian territories, and all states in Mexico, right? If you ever drive through those states, you need to make sure that those miles are going to be filed as non-IFTA miles in your IFTA report. Non-IFTA miles. So let's see. First, we need to remember, right, that your IFTA was expiring on December 31st. All of you, because you watching my lives, you go to my classes, I hope all of you already renewed your license on time, which will be expiring next year, January 1st, 22. Also, you have 4 states, right? So let's see. You have New Mexico, you need to renew, right? You have New York, hot, you have to renew. Kentucky, you don't have to renew. You have Kentucky license open. And Oregon, you have to renew if you do have an account. So those 4 states, we will be adding all the time, every quarter, right? So how does the quarters work? Let's look at this. For 2022, right now we are in January of 2022. So everybody is gathering information right now for the last quarter of 2021. And we're talking about what months? October, November, and December of 2021. We have the whole month of January to file IFTA, right? That's why we actually have our class, which will be this coming Sunday, right? Because we have lots of people who would like to learn how to file IFTA, how to file and open permits, how to close account, how to get the calls. So that's why we're doing next Saturday. So you guys, Sunday, so you still have 14 days to file your IFTA. If that's a service you want to provide, you still have time to actually advertise, collect the data, and you're good to go. So let's look at the dates for 2022. So we have 4 quarters, right? We have January, February, March. This is the first quarter. And look at the dates. The dates are you have to file not later than April 30th. Then we have a second quarter, April, May, June. Again, we have the full August to file. And look at this, August 2nd. So if last day is falling on Saturday or Sunday, they usually give us extra day. That's why you see here August 2nd, right? Then we have a third quarter and of course the fourth quarter, which will be due by January 31st of what? 2022, right? So this is for this year. Now we're going to have everything for 2022, right? So again, the quarters do not change. We just saw the quarters. We are finishing the fourth quarter. Can you please guys tell me, because I have a text warning on my StreamYard that I have a trouble streaming on Facebook. So can you guys tell me if you can hear me? I mean, if somebody's watching me on Facebook, can you just verify that you guys able to see me and you guys can hear me? Okay, but let's continue. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, let me see. Okay, here's our IFTA decals, right? So for 2021, it's perfect. Thank you, Marty. Thank you. Just, I don't know why did I have this message on the screen. So this is what we call decals, right? We do not call them IFTA stickers. We call them decals. And they're required in all 48 states. Okay. So what are the steps for the calculation? Well, we have 3 different methods, right? Manually tracking your odometer readings, and it's gonna take you two hours per truck. You can use miles calculator, it's 1.5 hour per truck, or you can use already automated IFTA reporting. Nowadays with the technology, guys, it's so easy. For example, most of you are on ELDs, right? If you are on ELD, your ELD provider offers you IFTA calculation tracking of your miles. Then you have what? You have your fuel, right? You have your fuel reports. So it's easy to gather information. You go to your ELD, you check by all trucks. You can use all trucks or per truck, and then you can add it. So what do we need to file IFTA? We need all miles driven by each truck in all states, right? And also all gallons. So you need to gather that information before you file the IFTA. And how you're going to do it, it's up to you. Personally, me, I gather all the miles from my carrier's ELDs, right? So I go and I do the report. For example, fourth quarter of 2021. Also, most of my carriers, they use fuel cards. So every quarter you receive the report. You can have it by the company or by the truck. If my carrier has more than one truck, 2-3 trucks, I like to have information by each truck. But how will I file? To file IFTA, You have to put all miles together for all 5 trucks, all gallons together for all 5 trucks in each state. So you end up having data. Maybe all your trucks are only going on Midwest, so you're not gonna have West Coast states, right? Maybe you go all over, so you might have all 48 states. Maybe you only one truck and you go to 2 states, right? Maybe Illinois and Indiana. Then you're gonna be filing for only those 2 states. To answer any questions about IFTA, that's where you guys gonna go. You're gonna go to IFTA, International Fuel Tax website, official website. Make sure you go here and you can find all the information. If you, for example, need to find some paperwork or you don't know how to open IFTA in your state, you can find let me just go and see if I can do that right now, right? So hold on a second. Let me open another screen. Let's go to IFTA International Association. So that's where you go. You're gonna click on the state. I don't know, maybe you are in Delaware, right? So this will be information for the state of Delaware, right? So it has a phone number, it has a fax, it has a website, right? Where to file IFTA, and it's gonna even have the sample decals. So you're gonna go and you're gonna open your IFTA account, right? So hours of operation, they're gonna tell you what to do, IFTA Inc., agreement, carrier's form, everything you need to do with IFTA in Delaware, you can find it right here, right? So IFTA application, look at this, for new decals. You need IFTA tax return form. Here you go, your IFTA tax return form. You need your record keeping requirements. Here you go. Every state has their rules. So we have a federal rule, but then every state. So for example, Delaware tells you that you need to make sure you have a trip report, right? With what? Vehicle identification number, driver name, date of the trip, trip origin, destination, trip beginning, and all of this for every driver, for every day. So that's what you do. So if you guys want to see all of this information, you can go find your state, any state. So I don't know if you are in North Dakota. Okay, let's see. Maybe your carrier is in North Dakota. This is information for the North Dakota, right? Their email if you have a hard time. So this should be your tool number 1. One more time, where you go, iftach.org, right here, right? You can see. So you guys gonna find the IFTA. Well, let's say we collected all the information, and then you need to go and file the IFTA, right? Well, what is the most important thing to remember? It's not even gathering the gallons, it's not even gathering the miles correct, right? But making sure that all your paperwork is on file. And you have to keep a paperwork for 4 years for IFTA, because we do have in each state, we do have IFTA audits, right? And IFTA audits have a very high fines, right? And remember, you can be fined up to 5,000, and also you can face a federal jail, right? Because this is a federal offense. Okay, let's move this banner and let's go back. So I gathered all the information and look how it looks. So for example, I just gave you a screenshot of one of the trucks. I went to ELD, right? I choose this truck, I choose the last quarter, and this is the miles, right? So look, he only went to 15 states, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, right? So here is his miles. Here is I identify miles. So something is missing here, right? Maybe logbook was not working, maybe driver disconnected. I have to go and see what was going on there. But I only have 86 miles of unidentified miles. So it's not a big number. So I just need to make sure I go back and see on his trip report. So now I have what? I have all the states and all the miles. This is my total miles, right? What else would I need? Well, I will need to have his fuel, right? How did I gather this information? Well, I have fuel cards, right? So every carrier, they give me or they send me their fuel card information, or I just log in and I ask for report, right? You go to eManager if you have Fleet One and you choose this report. So now I have what? I have all the gallons, right? I have volume. I have all of the gallons in the states. So if you see, if we go back, look at this. If we go back, we have miles in 15 states, right? But we only have fuel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states, right? Why is that? Well, because guys, sometimes we not fuel in certain states, right? For example, some guys don't like to fuel in Pennsylvania, it's too expensive, or maybe they have a big tank. So yes, you live Chicago, you go to New York, if you put the fuel tanks, you don't need to fuel in Indiana, in Ohio, you're gonna fuel back in New York maybe, right? So that's why you're gonna have more states, and sometimes you're not gonna have all the states you're not gonna be fueling. And based on that, your calculations, your IFTA reporting is gonna pay or receive money back. So when we're gonna be doing the live fuel file for IFTA this Sunday for Fuel My Carriers, you're gonna see if he had 3,000 miles in Wisconsin, but he did not even fuel once, well, he has to pay Wisconsin. If he had 3,000 miles and he fueled way more than he was supposed to fuel for 3,000, well, Wisconsin will give him credit, right? So that's how it works. So in the end of IFTA, or we pay or we get money back, right? So when you gather all the information for your IFTA, when you gather information for your gallons and miles, you're gonna go to your carrier account, right? And you're gonna choose what? Well, what are you gonna be doing? You're gonna be filing the quarterly filing, right? Look at these options. Let's say maybe you're going out of business, right? Or you did not drive. Then you're gonna click no operations. Do you still have to file IFTA? Yes, even if you had a zero. If you do have IFTA account open, you have to file zeros. Same gonna go with the states. For example, New Mexico. If you have a New Mexico account and you did not go through it, you still have to go and file zeros. If you were in New York and you did not go through this, but you do have account, you have to go and file zeros. Same with Oregon. Same with Kentucky. So something like this, you have to really understand. That's why if you are a Midwest carrier and you never go through New Mexico, do not open New Mexico account. If you never go to East Coast, do not open that New York account, right? So let's go back. You're gonna choose quarterly filing. You're gonna choose the fuel type, of course. What do we have? It's gonna be biodiesel, right? So you're gonna choose which one are you using, right? You know what you're using. You're gonna put total miles and total gallons. And then you guys gonna go and fill out all of this paperwork. So jurisdiction. And where you gonna get it? You're gonna get it, remember? From here. So you're gonna put Connecticut, 389 miles. Delaware, 130. And then you're gonna look and see, did you had any fuel in Connecticut? Did you had any fuel in Delaware? If not, then you simply gonna put zeros. And that's how you guys gonna go from each state you enter. I mean, if your driver goes everywhere, maybe it's gonna take you what, 20 seconds? 20 minutes, maybe half hour, the most. It doesn't take hours to file IFTA. Okay, so right here. So see, you're gonna put jurisdiction, and you guys gonna put the miles. After you file, that's what it's gonna look like, right? And you're gonna see your MPG, miles per gallon. Look at this number, 686. You should verify this number, because if you have a new truck, your MPG is going to be higher. If you have an older truck, your MPG is going to be lower. If you guys see this number before you click file, if this number is ridiculously lower, for example, 3, or too high, 12, 14, that means that you're missing something, or you're missing miles, or you're missing gallons, right? So you're filing, if this is the same trucks, your MPG for each quarter cannot vary that much. If this truck is averaging 686, it depends how heavy the loads were, it depends where he was going, it can maybe improve to 7 or actually go down to 6 and 2. But it cannot happen while his mile per gallon was around 686, and this quarter suddenly he's at 12. Impossible, right? Even the new truck, what are they promising us? They're averaging 8.5 per gallon. Well, it has to be light. He should not go to mountains and all. So this is not possible, right? So MPG is going to show you how accurate you are, and that's what we're going to be covering in our class. Let's see something. Give me a break. I just want to check on something, and let's watch when the class is. Sorry, guys. Sometimes with all the streams and software and connecting to YouTube and Facebook, it's challenging. So let's look back. So when you're okay with that number, that's how much you have to pay, right? So this is example, for the last quarter of one of my drivers. So he had to pay $57. Sometimes you receive money back, right? So if you were fueling in some states more than you should, it's gonna show you, and you receive your money back. Also, IFTA account is always gonna remind you, right, about your license, about the expiration of your decals. It's gonna tell you that you cannot operate on suspended license, right? And you need to avoid any penalties with what? With the late filings. So let's see if you guys have any questions. And if not, we're going to be done for today, because I'll see all of you on Sunday. Whoever signed up for IFTA class, it's not too late. The IFTA class is only $349, and it's 4 hours. We're going to go through all the permits, how to do it. You guys going to see us live. We're going to be filing for few carriers. So after that, it should not be any problems. So let's see who is watching us today. Well, hi, Ron. How are you? Pamela, Justin. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, everybody. Any questions about the IFTA? Okay, let me answer some. We still have a few more minutes, because today is just a short live to remind you that IFTA is due by this month. Okay, hello, everybody. It's perfect. Good. Hello, everyone. Hello. And here we go, 2020 with all the good people. Yes, Alex, finally, what equipment situation is exempt from IFTA. So if you're not going outside of the state, you do not, so intrastate carriers, and if your equipment is less than 10,000 on the weight, you don't have to file IFTA. Any questions about IFTA? I mean, again, you have to renew your license. Let's say you started with one truck this year. In March, you add in another truck. What do you need to do? You have to go to your IFTA account and what? Add extra decals, right? Let's look at some forms that you should have, right? So first, let's compare what has to be for IFTA or IRP compliant. So what is required for IFTA, right? Well, the dates and time is required. Location on GPS required, right? And this is only for your ELD, but we are looking at this last column, right? So routes traveled by unit by each truck required? Yes, required. Beginning and ending reading of odometer required? Yes, required. Engine hours. See, for your ELD, engine hours are required. For IFTA, they are not required, or IRP, right? So let's see. Distance by unit each 24 hours. For ELD, of course, it's required because that's how it's calculated 70 hours. But for our IFTA filing, it's not required, right? Distance by jurisdiction. For ELD, it's not required, but for IFTA is required because we need to know exactly how many miles you had in Ohio, how many miles you had in Indiana, how many miles you had in Illinois for us to file IFTA correct. You need to have unit number. For ELD, you need to have truck number and trailer number, right? But for IFTA, we only need truck number, right? So different requirements. Well, look at this. Do you need the company name for your ELD? Yes. And if that is required, your company, tax ID, who is the company, where you located, you need to have IFTA account required. What about driver name? Well, for ELD, it's required. But for IFTA, they don't care who was a driver, right? They just need to know the truck 55 drove this many miles and he used so many gallons in each state. So see the difference between ELDs and IRP. And look at this. For audit purposes, ELD, you have to have on file for 6 months. For IFTA, 4 years. And IRP, up to 6.5 years, right? What else? Minimum device requirements, right? So what is the responsibility? Well, we need to make sure that we have all those forms, right? What else? Let's see in this. Let's see the trip report. Each driver has to have trip reports. So, for example, in my class, I give those pre-filled one. So the driver will put truck number 77, trailer number 135. I don't know. Driver's name is I don't know, Alex, whatever. Alex. I don't even know the last name. I don't. Whatever. Alex. I'm Alex, right? Well, he's co-driver if you have. Oh, company name. Let's say it's Alex Transportation, right? Okay, Alex Transportation. Okay, it wants me to put capital, of course. Start day. Well, maybe he started yesterday, so he's gonna put start day. Where did he started? Chicago. Where is he going to? Miami. Return day. And then he's gonna put all the dates. So today, maybe he started today. He started in Illinois. What type of fuel did he use? Well, diesel, right? So he's gonna put D. State. He started in Illinois. Date. Sorry, I have to put the capital, so don't mind that. 01 10, right? So he started today. Which highways did he use, right? Did he took 94? Did he took 90? Where is he going? How many miles did he fuel today? If he did fuel, he would put 130 miles, and it has to be where? In Illinois. Maybe somewhere in North Lake. We have a North Lake, Illinois. So that's what he's gonna put here. Tomorrow, he's still driving to what? Through Indiana. So he's gonna put Indiana, right? Indiana, but he's not fueling because he put all the fuels today. And of course, he's gonna put all the highways or routes he uses. He's gonna have 0. Then maybe he is gonna fuel all the way in Georgia, right? So he's going through what? He's going Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. Maybe but he still have to put which states he's passing. So what do we call this? Trip report. This is one of the paperwork which is mandatory for each truck for you to keep on file for how long? 4 years. So if your driver does not do it on time, do you really think it's easy to go and fake all this? No, it's not. So make sure that you guys do this, right? We have different examples. You can use this one if it's easier for you, but information is the same. Carrier, account number for IFTA, who is the driver, unit number for the truck, and he can put all of this. So every state gives different examples. What else you need to have? For example, Illinois is giving you this, right? So they want you to put the date, origin. So whatever you guys like to use, as long as you are using this. What another form we need to keep? Well, remember I told you, when you assign decals for your trucks, you need to put the number of decal, date when it was put on your truck number, which truck is this? Is it Freightliner? Is it Volvo? Last 4 of the VIN number for the truck. Registration gross weight, right? In this case, it's 80. Plate number, owner's name, if that's an owner operator who works for you. And maybe he's quitting for you, date removed, or maybe it's lost and you need to order one. So what do we call this? Decal assignment. Each state has their own form, and this form has to be filled out every year. If you add in decals, you need to make sure you have it. When you're gonna be audited, that's what they need. They want to see all trip reports for all drivers for the last 4 years. They want to see the call assignment. They want to make sure that you have proof documents. And for those, you're going to have what? Tolls, your fuel receipts, right? Your fleet card reports, right? What else you're going to have? ELD reports. So now think about this. Is it only about clicking and filing that IFTA? Or this is more stress about being compliant and making sure that you're not going to have those fines and penalties, and you know what has to be in your truck, how to manage this, and what do you have to keep on file. So let's see. Are there any way to yes, are there any way to amend the IFTA report? Yes. Remember when we were looking, let me find this screenshot. So look at this. Let's say you made mistake, right? So you can amend it. You miscalculated or something. Or what's going to happen? When the state is going to find that something doesn't make sense, they're going to deny and they're going to reach out to you and ask for you to refile. And usually, why something's going to be wrong? First, maybe you missed some state. You put the fuel gallons, but you forgot to put miles. Maybe you missing some. We have 2 surcharge states. That's Kentucky and Virginia. So when you put Kentucky, you put miles and gallons, you have to do it one more time. You put Kentucky one more time, you put zeros, and it charges surcharge. So only 2 states, Kentucky and Virginia. Maybe you forgot to do that. Maybe your MPG is so different from your previous filing, so now they're gonna red flag you. Maybe on your regular IFTA, you filed New York miles, but you forgot to go to New York, or you just fake it and you put that you had 0. But on your regular IFTA, you put that you had miles in New York. So New York will reach out to your state and say, well, we need to make sure what's going on. That's why it's important to make sure that you know what to do and how to look for those numbers. And we cover that again in this Sunday class. We do those classes just once in 3 months because we do it right when we have to file the IFTA. Because, my trainings are hands-on. It's no reason for me just to sit and explain. You have to see it. Well, how we file in New Mexico? How do we file in Kentucky? How do we file in New York? How do we file in Oregon? How do we file in your state? When you see it once, when you're gonna finish homework, you're gonna know it. Doesn't matter which state you're gonna be filing, because system is the same. Okay. How many, what about if you have owner operator, then they 1 day miles by quarterly? How did you do if they don't have e-log? Well, that's why you need to have what? Those trip reports. You need to collect them from your drivers, and then you have to sit there and calculate, right? And not only you collect those reports, but you also have to make sure, because if he's an owner operator, and I have a problem with people who is fueling with cash or credit cards, right? Because it's easy if they have Fleet One, you just go, you gather all the information, everything there. Some people want to save money, they pay with credit card, they pay with cash, they pay with this account. This is the hardest part. So you need to collect copies of those fuels. So they work for you. This is your job. You have to have it as a proof together with those trip reports. So that's what happens when people drive not on e-logs, or they do not use fuel accounts. Okay. Okay, so I join a little. So how does IFTA license, please? Well, you have to go and rewatch. IFTA license are given for the full year from the state where your carrier is registered. Okay, e-log is mandatory since 2018. Paper logbooks allowed only on a territory basis. If your e-log is not working or broken or don't have one yet, you have to report it immediately. Well, again, Marty, no, this is not correct. Yes, it is mandatory from 2018, but we have trucks which had manufacturer engine before 99, right? So they cannot connect to that engine, so they still on a paper logbook. Or we had all those people who went and paid 100,000 for the new engine, and they put it all the engine on their brand new truck. I had people who were paying 100,000 just because they want still to be on a paper logbook. If you ask me, I think this is a total nonsense. Learn how to dispatch, learn how to get the better rate instead of trying to fake logbooks, okay? Because if you spend 100,000 on that engine just to avoid ELD, so sometimes you can rip and fake that. How many years it's gonna take you to make that money back? Well, at least 3 years. So was it worth it? No. Improve your skill, start connecting, dispatch, understand what you're doing in logistics. It's no need to connect. So yes, Marty, we still have some people who have older trucks. So they are on paper logbooks. So they need to make sure they have those trip reports. But even if your driver is on ELD, you still need to have your trip reports, because look at this. ELD collects data, keeps the data only for 6 months. For IFTA, you need it for 4 years. For IRP, 6.5. So if you don't save that, if you don't do it all the time, how are you gonna go and dig your information from the last year, from previous year? Then you have people who come and go. So that's what it is. Did you sell those forms in taxes? Well, we know you don't need to sell. Those are free. Again, when you're going to go on that ifta.org and you're going to choose taxes, it's going to take you to your states and you can see all the forms required by your state. So no one should sell them. Those are free on your IFTA accounts, right? Every state has their rules. So one more time, maybe if you join us late, here that's where you go, right? You go to ifta.ach.org. You choose your jurisdiction state, right? So let's see. You choose, you said you were in Texas, right? So it's gonna take you. Here is your phone numbers for your IFTA, right? So you can go and all the forms should be there. Open, how to open, and all the stuff. So this is your states, right? So if you have any problems, you should contact your own states. I mean, if you're talking about those the form which I show you for each for each for each driver, guys, I don't mind. Subscribe to our website, learndispatchtoday.com, and send me, please, email. I don't mind to sending you. So please, one more time, if you guys gonna go to our website, right? Learn Dispatch Today. Let me show you where you guys gonna go. So you guys gonna go here, right? Learn Dispatch Today. Okay. So please subscribe and shoot me email and say, well, I would like to have those IFTA reporting files, and we email it to you. Again, it might take a few days because we're very busy with the classes. So my team will send it to you. If that's what's gonna help you, right there, right? So here you go, guys. You go to our website. Here's all our reviews, everything, our next classes, right? But if you scroll down to the end, you can subscribe, right? Right here, subscribe and send us a request right here. Please send me IFTA forms. I don't mind doing that. It is free. And let's see, somebody's asking me when is a class, right? So we have IFTA right here. It's 349. It's going to be 4 hours. So you can click right here. It's not too late because you don't really need to prepare for this. We're going to be covering everything in a class. So we're going to go through the IFTA. It's from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Central Time, right? We're going to go through opening Kentucky, New York, New Mexico, so you can buy the ticket. So here you go. Again, on our website, not too late. We also had an option for some people who wants to take IFTA and safety option, right? So that's happening, right? Only safety, if you want only safety, or if you want to combine, then you're saving money. So we're going to start with IFTA, and we're going to continue with our safety on the 30th. So here's the schedule. Here's the schedule for our IFTA and safety combined. Again, it's not too late. We still have spaces. Any other questions? Let me see. So 10 o'clock. Did you so no forms needs to be sent. Decalls, how much decalls cost? Well, some states are free. For example, Ohio is free. In Illinois, it's $3.75, right, per decall. To open a license, it's a few dollars. So it's not that much. Again, make sure you're not late. If you're late, what's going to happen? Well, you need to file ASAP. You will be paying penalties, right? The faster you file, the better will it be. If you are not paying within 30 days, well, they will suspend your IFTA. If they suspend your IFTA account, that means your truck is illegal on the road. That means your truck cannot go pick up and deliver the load outside of your state. Okay, any other questions about IFTA? Because we will be finishing and we will be preparing for how to pass new entrant audit probably on Wednesday. Our dispatch class is sold out. We are not taking any more people for January. This is going to be the biggest class I ever had. We're talking about 75 students in a class. So prepare. We will be working a lot. Lots of extra things I am adding. We are making sure that everybody succeeds. Again, following class, it's going to be in March. Our next IFTA is going to be in April. That's when we need to file the second quarter, right? I mean, the first quarter of 2022. Sorry, we are filing the last quarter for 21. And what else? Well, big support to you. Thank you. And any questions? Because we will be finishing today. Thanks again for watching us. Like, share, comment. If you need those forms, subscribe, email us, and we're going to make sure we'll send it to you. If you really want to learn IFTA, sign up for the class. It's going to be 4 hours via Zoom, and we're going to cover all those things. Make sure you stay compliant, your cars are safe on the road, and you do not pay fines, because those fines in trucking are extensive, right? So IFTA is one of them. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys soon.
Changing the world. We won't back down this time all round. In every city, in every town.